What's going on, guys? It's Nick here, back in the video. It's Monday, so you know time. It's time for the mock draft Monday. We've done 2 full PPR drafts in a row, so we're going back to half PPR this week. Going to do a 12-team league, probably going to do a 14-team league next week. And we've done like 7 and later for like 4 in a row, I think, at this point. So let's give ourselves, we won't take the 101. We'll take, I don't know, just give ourselves 3 or something like that. Stop randomizing it. We'll take 3. I'm also going to showcase something for you guys today. Built something new in the app that I think you guys are really going to like. We'll pop that up in a second. So I think everything is set last time, and I think I want to keep it for this time. We put rookies on high. Yeah, it's still there. Just want to make sure that what actually ends up happening is people start reaching for rookies a little bit on. Plus, sometimes early for fantasy pros, sometimes they don't rank the rookies super high. So just want to make sure everything here is realistic. All right, here's what I've teased for the app. I'll pull up the simulator right here. There's a new strategy helper in the app. So free to download for the app, but the strategy helper is going to be a premium tool. This is based on, you guys have heard me talk about the study before. I have, at this point, over 5 million redraft teams and the results from their draft, the results from how they did in the league. All of that is being fed now into this. So you can go in, you can set your league size. We're in a 12-team league. We have 2 starting wide receivers, 1 flex spot. We're in half PPR. And it is going to tell you, based on historical results from all of those teams, all of those leagues that are in these exact settings, what has been the best position to draft based on what you have done thus far. So historically, of course, it makes sense. Quarterbacks and tight ends not doing so hot. This is playoff rate over expectation. Running back, wide receiver. Running back's been a little bit better than wide receiver in round 1, but not something you definitely have to do. So we are going to look at this tool a little bit during the draft. We're not just going to like only be staring at it, but I kind of want to showcase how you could draft with it this season. So it's saying right now running back, wide receiver. That's something we already knew. You probably didn't need the tool to tell you that, but it is saying running back has been slightly better in round 1 than wide receiver in this format. Okay. So obviously no quarterback, obviously no tight end. Our options here are we go with Jefferson or CeeDee Lamb. I have Jefferson a little bit ahead of CeeDee Lamb. I'll pull my rankings over here. And then you have Bijan and Gibbs. It's kind of just, you know, what we've talked about the entire offseason. The start of the draft I didn't mention, but it's how every draft seems to start. Chase and Saquon Barkley. My rankings, half PPR right now, are Chase, Saquon, Bijan, Gibbs, and then the trio of wide receiver, Jefferson, Lamb, and Neighbors. Neighbors is a jump back from Jefferson and Lamb. I think it's a pretty clear top 6 with Neighbors at 7, then Genty after that. I have said many times that I prefer teams that have only 1 running back through the first 3 rounds, just this season, how it's kind of playing out. So I like when I'm able to get a wide receiver in round 1 because then I have 2 options to get running back after that. But I think in this one, we'll take Bijan, we'll go with the rankings, and we'll see how the team turns out. So we take Bijan Robinson there, and then we'll pull up the draft board and we will see what happens. So after our pick, Bauer's the only tight end. We see, 7 running backs: Gibbs, Genty, CMC, Henry, Jacobs, Bucky, and Achane. And then a lot of wide receivers go off the board. Lamb, Jefferson, Nico, Puka, St. Brown, Brian Thomas Jr., Neighbors, A.J. Brown, Ladd, and London. No surprises in the first 2 rounds. So we can pull up our simulator here. We can say we take a running back here. It's a little bit slower through the simulator because I'm running like a simulator while streaming this on my computer. It's almost instant on a phone. But as you would expect, we take running back in round 1. Tight end becomes viable. It'll add to your playoff rate over expectation. Still don't want to do quarterback this early. And running back is again viable, but notice how it drops a decent amount. And wide receiver becomes by far your better pick in round 2. So knowing that, what do we got? Bowers is an option for us. I have him at 23. We're at 22, so we're right in a good spot for him. Top wide receivers on the board for me are T. Higgins. We don't really need to go further than that because we're only drafting 1 player, and he's by the top, near top ADP, but I do have T. Higgins over JSN. Top running back on the board is going to be Jonathan Taylor. And then, top quarterback is going to be that kind of trio at the top of Allen, Lamar, and Daniels, but I don't have them as top 2 round picks, so we're not going to go there. So Data says go with T. Higgins. Strategy-wise, because you don't want to just like strictly go with data, what's happened in the past. Every year is different, and every draft is different. Different things can happen. We get different value. If McCaffrey, if Derrick Henry were available to us at this pick, I don't care what the data says. That is a really good pick for us to make. So I would maybe go in that direction. So you still have to kind of factor in what you think you can get, and also what we think we can get in the next round. Remember, we're going to have 4 picks that go by, but then we're going to be up again. So odds are Taylor's gone. I would say odds are McBride is gone. We can pull up their ADP over here. Yeah, JT and McBride are the top 2 by their ADP. So it's likely those 2 are gone. At running back after that, I don't know that I would be going towards anyone. It would be, yeah, Jacobs is gone. I mean, it'd be Chase Brown, but we're definitely not taking him at the next pick. So JT is clearly the top running back on the board, but again, I like my teams a little bit more if I don't take that second running back. T. Higgins, if we take him, we'll be looking at the general range of Tyreek Hill, of Marv, McLaurin, Rice, Garrett Wilson. And it's actually pretty likely we get, it's definitely likely we get someone from that group. Pretty likely we get to double dip here. And I think that's probably our best move. If we think it's likely that JT and McBride go off the board, maybe a quarterback goes off the board. No one's even touching wide receiver. So we're going to get another pick of a great wide receiver that we like. I think that's probably the move for us to do, both from a data perspective and from a strategy perspective. So we'll take T. Higgins at this spot, and we will see what the board does. Unfortunately, we just missed out on McBride. So JT goes, Chase Brown goes, Kyron goes, and McBride also off the board. We will tell the simulator we did in fact take a wide receiver. It will recalculate, and it'll tell us what we can do at this next pick. Honestly, pretty split. A slight lean towards wide receiver here, but wide receiver, running back, very, very viable. Tight end, quarterback, not the best. The data, I will say one thing, it very, very much likes you either take a tight end early or you wait a while. Sometimes you're going to get random rounds where it pops up where it's like, this is a decent spot to take tight end. But for the most part, if you kind of smooth out the data and look at it, it's like, go with Bowers, go with McBride early, maybe get Kittle, because I think Kittle has a real good chance of like finishing in that tier. And if you don't get them, just wait forever and take 2. That's kind of what the data is suggesting in most formats, especially formats that have like a bunch of extra flex spots. And then for quarterback, it's a similar story, but for quarterback, you guys know, and the data kind of supports it. It's basically just like, where's the value, right? When you're going through the draft, there's so many really good quarterbacks. Truly, I'll put the cheat sheet here. I am perfectly fine if my quarterback 1 is any of Allen, Lamar, Daniels, Hurts, Burrow, Baker, Mahomes, Kyler, Bo Nix. That's probably a good break, but I'm still fine if I want to double dip on any 2 of Goff, Herbert, Caleb, Fields, Purdy, Dak, Love, May, Stroud, Lawrence. I would say after that, even like Tua, if you want to double dip with him and someone else, JJ McCarthy, Penix, you want to take a shot on, Geno Smith. Like, there are options here to take 2 late. And it's like the value of doing that instead of drafting one right at their ADP. If there's so many opportunities for a quarterback, at some point, someone's going to be a really good value. So to take a quarterback at this spot, sure, it's fine, but it's not an amazing value, and we're pretty sure we're going to get a really good value at some point. So long story of saying, we're not going quarterback, we're not going tight end. I would have definitely considered McBride at this spot, but I'm definitely not reaching for Kittle. So we're doing one of the running back or receiver. Remember the stat said wide receiver slightly over running back, and my personal feeling this season is that you kind of want to be leaning that direction because there's a lot of decent values at running back later. Wide receiver does fall off a little bit. There's still some wide receivers I love. I do like being wide receiver heavy at times in the middle rounds, but this season I think there's a little bit more value at running back than we're used to seeing in the past. So the rankings, just if you want straight off the rankings, say Tyreek Hill at this spot. And I did the player note. I'm starting to do a little bit more of the player notes. You guys can see at least the first 120 words of them for free through the app. Again, the app is completely free. You can mock draft on it. You can do the player picking to compete against me for the rankings. You can also, there's the competition we have. Set your must draft players. So in here, I'll show you guys. We're doing a competition for, this is my account. You view my profile. Must draft, sleepers, and fades. If you guys go in to your account and you edit your profile and you edit your list, you can compete against me, compete against anyone else. Completely free to do. There will be prizes for the top scoring people. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but again, completely free to enter. So you can do all of that. And when you view players, you can see some player notes. I did the player note on Tyreek Hill, and it's kind of like a mix. It's like he's Tyreek Hill, right? He had back-to-back, 1,700-yard seasons going into last season. Then he had, I think it was like 81 for around 970 yards, something like that, 6 touchdowns. Down year. Tua gets hurt. He has the wrist injury that requires surgery in the offseason. But then also, it's like, okay, you can argue that maybe that sort of drop-off was not even to do with him, it was just environment. He himself, his separation scores are a little bit lower last season. So it's just something to wonder, basically, is it the team or is it him as a player dropping off? I think it's probably a little bit of both. He mentioned that, like, oh, I didn't really train too hard last offseason. You don't know if that's just talk and he's just trying to get back into it. But point being, we don't know. What I do know is it's Tyreek Hill. He's clearly capable of posting 1,700 yards. He's on an offense I expect to bounce back. It's not like anyone in this range is without some sort of question mark. Adams is a wide receiver 2. I mean, I drafted T. Higgins as a wide receiver 2, but that's probably the best team you want a wide receiver 2 on, just in how much they're going to throw the ball. But Adams is a wide receiver 2. Garrett Wilson has Justin Fields throwing him the ball. We don't know what that. McLaurin, potential holdout right now. Mike Evans is, even older than Tyreek Hill is. JSN, we have the coaching change. We've got the quarterback change. Like, there's a lot of changing happening there. Bryce, you have potential suspension. Like, you start looking at it, and we're already in a range where everyone has a question mark. So Tyreek Hill, I don't know, maybe been cool kind of going with his. So I'm going to draft him. I think in the 3rd round, more often than not, that's just a pick that I am personally willing to make. Okay. After we go, pretty heavy quarterback. So all the top 4 go. Kittle goes off the board, so we're not doing quarterback. We're not doing tight end this pick. Pretty even split after that, running back, wide receiver. Basically all the wide receivers I just mentioned. JSN, McLaurin, Adams, Wilson, Rice, but then also Devonta Smith and Mike Evans off the board. And then running backs, Breece Hall goes, James Cook, Kenneth Walker, Joe Mixon, Alvin Kamara, and Amarian Hampton. So I'm just going to click over here for the simulator for you guys. As you can see, and as you would kind of think, we go with wide receiver. Wide receiver drops off a little bit. Running back a little bit more viable in this spot. But you can still increase your playoff rate over expectations, still taking a wide receiver or a running back. To be clear, if you have a positive number, it's still a good pick to make. All right. Again, no quarterback, no tight end. So Marv, I'm pretty sure by far is the top wide receiver on the board. I have Marv at pick 29. We're at pick 46. The next ranked wide receiver I have is Worthy down here. Potentially get him at the next round. Top running back I have is, looking at it, probably Chuba, but it could be Connor or what even is Chuba? Okay, Chuba, but I have him way lower. People are taking running back pretty early in this draft. So I don't see the value is definitely not at running back with this pick. I think you have to go Marv. I don't even think that's really a question you can have in your mind. Grab that 3rd. Look at our team right now to get Higgins, Tyreek, and Marv. Hero RB build with Bijan. I think that just makes all the sense in the world. So not even going to hesitate. We're going to take that one. We'll see what happens. After our pick, Chuba does go, but then Sutton, DJ Moore, and Zay Flowers. So at 503 now, I'm going to move this a little bit. Pick 51. Burrow is actually a value by the rankings. I have him at 43rd overall, so we're looking at about 8 picks of value there. The only other player I have ranked higher than him right now is Worthy at 42, because I don't think Worthy got taken there. So we go with Worthy, but that is the first bench player. If I go over and I draft over here, I draft that 3rd wide receiver. Wide receiver is still totally fine to do, but running back is starting to be like very, very, very much a pick we should be making. It's saying quarterback, not so amazing of a pick right now. But again, every year is different. I do think that Burrow represents kind of a tier break. I think he kind of deserves to be in, honestly, a tier of his own, really. But I think he's a totally fine pick to make there. But maybe we can hold off a little bit on quarterback. Running back. What do we have here? Okay. So I have not updated the rankings for Harvey. That's one that I think people are going to want to know about. As of recording this, they've had their dinner with J.K. Dobbins, but I haven't heard anything. You probably know. On Monday, you guys probably know what the status of that is. I'm just going to assume for this draft that he does sign in Denver, J.K. Dobbins, in which case he will get a dock, and it'll probably be enough of a dock because, I mean, he's only a couple points ahead of these guys where I probably wouldn't take him at this spot. And so me not knowing why would I take him, it's not going to be much, though. Really, them signing Dobbins, even being interested in him, really indicates like they don't trust Estime. They don't trust McLaughlin. They want to run the ball a decent amount. They don't want to give Harvey 400 touches, right? He's obviously not going to hold up to 400 touches. So you need someone else that you trust. And I mean, Dobbins was pretty decent when healthy, really throughout his career, but especially last season as well. So it would be a good signing for him to make from a football perspective. But for fantasy, yes, we would obviously drop him. Right now, I'm at 51. We're at pick 51. My guess is I would move him because he actually was ahead of Chuba Hubbard. I'd probably move him behind Chuba, behind Kamara, behind Travion, and he would go right in the range of David Montgomery and James Conner. I think he'd be like right there. I'd have to just think about, I have to see the deal. How much money did they give J.K. Dobbins? Just kind of think about where I want him exactly there. But I would not drop him probably to the like Judkins, Caleb Johnson range. So that's how it would be. Again, I'm not going to take him because, I mean, I will if he falls in this draft. But at this spot, I wouldn't go there. Kamara is gone, so it would be Henderson, Montgomery, and James Conner. We are going to have a lot go by, so ADP game, not really something we need to worry too much about. What's ADP have on Travion, though? Because Travion is a couple points ahead of Conner and Montgomery, and it's like, yeah, I'm not going to show us there. Them at 63, so there's only a 30% chance they're saying he's actually going to be there at the next pick. I don't know. I can't decide. I feel like my gut is saying risk it, but it's too much. I can't risk it for James Conner because James Conner definitely is 9 points of value. So then you go down to Dave Montgomery. It's 5 points. I don't know if it's worth risking the 5 points. Pretty decent chance Dave Montgomery's gone at the next pick. So you'd kind of just be throwing away the 5 points in projection. So, all right, we'll go with Travion. I don't think there's really a world where those guys don't get drafted. Okay. We're on the clock again. I don't know what happened to 506 here. I don't know if that's a glitch. And I've never seen this from Fantasy Pros, but I don't know if did anyone get drafted at that pick. I don't really know. I don't know what happened there. Maybe we'll see if we sorry, if you guys see him itching, I have like poison ivy over my like legs and my wrist and stuff. So apologies if you see the itching a lot. Anyways, yeah, I don't know why that's gone. But anyways, who got drafted? Laporta got drafted. Kelsey, a little bit earlier than he typically goes. Hawkinson gets drafted. Burrow does go. Patrick Mahomes goes to pick before us. So unlikely we draft a quarterback or a tight end at this pick. Only wide receivers that go are Metcalf, McMillan, J-Mo, Ayuk, and Godwin. And then running backs, Harvey goes to pick after us. And then Connor Montgomery covered after that. Then Caleb Judkins, Aaron Jones, and our question mark at 506. No idea what that was. Okay, so I'll put in running back in our simulator. I'm just going to guess that wide receiver bumps up. It does. Running back is still the best, but running back and wide receiver are the top two we should be going towards. In terms of value right now, Worthy. I mean, Worthy definitely stands out as a really, really strong pick. I mean, Worthy at 42, we're at 70 right now, so feels like a no-brainer. They have him at the top. I have him at the top. Like, I'm factoring in Rashee Rice having a great season. Worthy's still an amazing pick, so I don't really see a case going somewhere else. If you wanted to go with Swift here, I don't think that would be a terrible pick. Worth noting that this team already has 3 running backs, so a little bit less likely that this team drafts a running back. So we're only looking at one team there, and by ADP, Pollard would go first. So okay chance that Swift is available for our next pick, which would be a really, really nice one. Other options for us at wide receiver if we didn't want to go with Worthy. I was trying to get you guys the order. Travis Hunter's gone. Metcalf's gone. So, I mean, we're looking at Waddle. But for us, and it's why sometimes I'm leaning away from Tyreek where we took him just in like some drafts so I can get a little bit of exposure to Waddle. In Underdog, obviously, we want both of them. But in Redraft League, you probably don't want to draft Tyreek Hill and Waddle, especially on that team, because like if Tua gets hurt, now 2 of your wide receiver picks, all of a sudden both lose a ton of value. That's not amazing. But certainly an Underdog, you want to be doing that. But yeah, I think Worthy is just too clear of a pick. You just kind of have to take him there. That is unfortunate. It looks like Swift is going to go off the board. After we take Worthy, Baker, Caleb, Swift, and Olave. And that kind of stinks, but is what it is. Okay. Our team. We've got Bijan and Travion at running back. We've got T. Higgins, Tyreek Hill, Marv, and Worthy at wide receiver. Looking really, really nice. I will list wide receiver as one that we have taken. Calculations say running back and quarterback starting to be a lot better. Probably not taking our 5th wide receiver at this pick. Okay. So with that in mind, let's look on over at quarterback. We are at 75. I have this range of quarterback closer to the low 80s. So probably not. Probably not going to go there. Again, we want to have good values. I don't want to reach on a value. So it's a good spot to take quarterback, but I don't think we're going to do that. Tight end, definitely not. This is a range that all these guys are very, very similar. I don't want to be drafting any of those tight ends. Had Laporta or Hawkinson been available, maybe Kelsey, or probably not even Kelsey. Had those guys been available, we would have taken them, but we're not going to be doing that. So we're looking at running back and wide receiver. But again, the data is saying don't go with wide receiver. If we didn't have Tyreek Hill, I'd definitely consider Waddle here. And there are good wide receivers on the board, but running back is a little bit more optimal for us to be taking at this spot. Would have loved Swift. I have him at 73, but next ranked player is Tony Pollard. And like I always say, I've poo-pooed Tony Pollard at times. I think in the Friday video, I talked about how I'm not in love with Tony Pollard. I have him ranked a lot below consensus. But whenever that happens, if I don't love a player, it means I'm factoring into the projections that I don't love them. If they become the top player by ADP, the top player in my rankings, and I'm factoring in that I don't love them, if I'm right, they're the best pick. If I'm wrong, they're definitely the best pick. So Tony Pollard would be a great pick for us to add to the team right now. Okay. So what happened after that? Even mixture. We lost Goff. We lost Love off the board. With Jalen Warren, a lot of running backs actually. Warren, Brian Robinson, Najee, Tyron Tracy, Scattaboo, Javonte, Tank Bigsby, and Zach Charbonnet go off the board. We lose Waddle, Olave, Addison, Judy Pickens, Ridley Shakir, and Stephon Diggs. If we pull up over here, quarterback is now number 1. So quarterback and wide receiver and running back are all fine to make. We're going to add to our playoff rate over expectation, but quarterback is the best one. It's also nice to see that I don't know if it's my top ranked player. It's not the top ranked player. There's a few guys mixing in there. Jawan, Myers are in that general range. No running backs are in this range, but Kyler's almost my top ranked player. He's their top ranked player. He's my top ranked quarterback, and it's a good spot to take quarterback. So what have we said? We're good waiting. Pick 94. I have him picked 82. That's a good value. Let's take Kyler Murray. Although, I just want to check actually. Okay. We'll see. Both these teams have a quarterback. My gut says if this is my money league, I'm still taking him. Caleb and Baker are absolutely quarterbacks that you could stack. I don't know what the computer's going to do, but like if I drafted Baker, I'd be totally fine taking a second quarterback. So just because they have them there, like if they had, Allen and Lamar, I'd be like, okay, they're probably not going to take another quarterback. Someone could absolutely take Kyler here, and that would hurt. But I have Bo Nix to pick after. So I'm actually cool with either one of them. It's unlikely they both take a quarterback. So let's just see what else is available. I kind of said it before. Debo is actually my top ranked player, but it's Debo, it's Jawan, it's Myers. Those are top ranked wide receivers. And I'm pretty sure, Jordan Mason is an option for us here. So do we want to take one of them and then get a quarterback? I mean, what are the odds those 4 players all go off the board? Like, do we just take the quarterback? Because I don't even care that much. I mean, rankings-wise, Jawan is the play here, or Debo is the play here. And I do like Debo a good amount. And I feel like he's definitely the play over those guys. But I also really, really like Jordan Mason and being a little bit thinner at running back. Not that thin, though. I mean, we have 3 running backs. It's almost like, do I want them to just make the decision for me and take Kyler? But it's probably a dumb decision because I know they're not going to take both these quarterbacks. And I don't care which one I get between Kyler and Bo Nix. So let's take the player. Debo or Mason, though. I don't know. If we don't take them, it's going to be a long time. So the next pick after this, we're going to draft at 8-10. We're going to draft at 9-03. It's going to be 10-10 before we pick again. So in that range, I mean, we're probably looking at like these running backs. We're probably looking at like Bashal Tutin, Jaden Blue, Ray Davis. Like that's probably the range we're looking at. And at wide receiver, we're looking more at like Shaheed, Agbuka, maybe Mooney or Pittman. Yeah. No, you would go with the running back at that spot. Because the drop off at wide receiver is not as significant as it is for running back. These are like some pure handcuffs at that point. Okay. Let's take Mason. They don't take a quarterback. Lovely. So we will take Kyler Murray. Wow. Actually, Bo Nix didn't even get drafted in this section here. But this is also where the simulators sometimes cannot be amazing. Someone would have taken Bo Nix there. I really think like a hometown league, someone like a team that drafted like Love or Goff, I think one of them would have probably double dipped at quarterback and taken the second one there. So I don't think Bo Nix would have been available to his next picks. I definitely like, if that was my money league, I'd have taken quarterback there 100%. But after we went, it was Debo, Jawan, Myers were actually 3 of the players. So it is actually possible if we had taken Kyler that Mason would have been drafted that pick and the 4 players we wanted would have been off the board. So I think that was a good play for us. So again, running backs, Bijan, Travion, Pollard, and Mason. Wide receivers, T, Tyreek, Marv, and Worthy. And then quarterback, Kyler Murray. We'll pull up over here. We went running back. We went quarterback after that. So we'll let it do its simulations right now. It's saying don't take another quarterback. Tight end is starting to be an option for us. Wide receiver and running back are the best 2, though. And I think I agree with that. Again, it's just like good options here for us at tight end, but there's always going to be solid options. We only have 3 bench spots left. So we have tight end, 3 bench spots. So we're going to have our turn here, then another turn, and then it's going to be defense in the last round. So 2 quick picks, a break, 2 more quick picks. Pittman. I don't think it's that close. Pittman and Mooney are closer, actually. Who do I have? I have Pittman at 132.5, Mooney at 130.6. So Pittman and Mooney definitely top 2 on the board. Shaheed and honestly Coleman are more underdog plays, not really redraft players. Bateman the same. Yeah, no, you absolutely have to go with the wide receiver here. And honestly, it'd be nice if I got to double dip and take Pittman and Mooney, and then I'd be good at wide receiver. I'd feel very confident about the entire grouping. We would take 1 more running back as kind of like an upside play, and we would take probably 1 tight end. It's ideal to double dip in this spot, but I just don't think I can go with like Jonnu, Ingram, and Njoku range over these guys. And actually, the rankings say Pittman is the top player available on the board. So I think you just have to do it. I like Pittman a lot this year. Great value for him. We're not going to get it, unfortunately. So 4 players that go after we pick him are Eckler, Golden, Jonnu, and Mooney. That's fine. I'll put in that we took a wide receiver. Now we'll probably consider taking the tight end. So I put in wide receiver. It's saying don't do the quarterback. Wide receiver is not the best. Running back and tight end are a little bit better options for us. If we go over to the cheat sheet over here, I got to go to the second page of the rankings now. I have Ingram at 104 or 123. Ingram's the top play there. At running back, it's very gross, and I think we're at the range where like I just don't really want to be first to take these guys. It would probably be Ray Davis. You've got a theoretical holdout risk for James Cook. He has no leverage, so it's not going to happen. But theoretical there. But also, he was really good on a per play basis last year. Injury upside for Ray Davis. Like, I think he's the top running back on the board. But it's Ray Davis, and then, I mean, goodness, like, complete and utter handcuffs. Guerendo, obviously, Jalen Wright, handcuff. Like, it's just handcuff. And do I need to be the first? No. They're all just going to be injury related anyways. So I think Ingram, probably top of that tier. Makes sense for us to go with him because, like, there's going to be a lot that go by. He's going to be gone. Joku will probably be gone. And then we'd be looking in this range. And that's totally fine. Like, if you wanted to double dip and take, like, Kincaid and Goddard, Goddard and Warren Loveland. Like, you want to just do stuff like that. But I think Ingram's just, like, the top available. And I don't see anything else that I really need. So we're going to go with him. Okay, we go there. I'll put in that we took a tight end over there. Not going to list everyone that went, but a ton of tight ends go off the board. That was a great pick for us. And Njoku, Kraft, Kincaid, Pitts, and Loveland all off the board. A ton of running backs. Herbert and Nix go at quarterback. And then a couple wide receivers. Shaheed, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, and Hollywood. Okay, so 2 picks. We've really just got this turn pick, and then we'll take defense after that. I'm really liking how this draft is turning out. If you are curious, it's saying running back and receiver are the top 2. That should be relatively obvious to us. I'm going to list all the running backs I'd be fine taking. I'd be fine taking Lloyd as a handcuff. Giddens, I'd prefer him in a full PPR league, but Giddens, honestly, Dobbins, if he signs. I don't know the answer to that, though, so probably not the smartest for me to take not knowing. I thought that said Travis Etienne down here, and I was like, what? Will Shipley. We're not going to go with Trevor Etienne. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of it. If you want to take a shot on Elijah Mitchell, I haven't really heard anything from camp so far, though. I feel like that's it. I mean, gross, right? That's terrible. So running back definitely fell off, but we got the 4 that we feel pretty good about, so I'm not too worried there. Wide receiver, I mean, we should probably just take the running back we want because there's a million wide receivers I'm fine with. And it's not like I love all these guys, but in terms of, like, being willing to draft a wide receiver right now, like, I mean, I don't love Keon, but Keon would be an option for us. Keon, Bateman, Tillman, Marvin Mims, Hopkins would be fine. Kyle Williams would maybe be my favorite from that list, honestly. Leggett, DeMario, Palmer, Slayton, Jaden Higgins might actually, like, Jaden Higgins probably over. Jaden Higgins is probably my favorite, so no reason obviously to take a wide receiver at that spot. I'm looking through running back. Yeah, I don't even see another name, so I guess we'll go with, do we just go with Marshawn Lloyd? That's probably the best available right now. If you want to take a shot, honestly, on Miles Sanders, that would be fine, thinking he wins the job in Dallas, but it's probably Marshawn Lloyd. You're hoping that he's the backup for Jacobs. He was a prospect that my model really liked. I liked a little bit. He got overhyped, obviously, last summer. He missed so much time with, like, injury, the appendectomy surgery, like, all these stuff that were, like, not outside of his control, but, like, like, unfortunate things. He's still a very good prospect. If he can win that number 2 job, good pick in the spot. All right, so I think we'll take him. We will take, I mean, realistically, like, if I was actually doing this, I would just take the top defense, which I don't know if it's Denver, but I would just take Denver, and then Jaden Higgins will probably be there at the next pick. So why wouldn't you do that? Take Jaden Higgins. Actually, I'll let you guys see the board one more time before we take him. Nothing special to talk about. Fields, Tua go, Keon Coleman, a couple running backs, and then a bunch of defenses. So, would we take Higgins? Yeah. These running backs stink. I mean, you could take a handcuff running back, but yeah, I would probably take Jaden Higgins. All right, I feel really good about that. I think that was a very good draft. 97. And a 97, drafting with the simulator. I don't know. We're not saying it's a simulator, but I think it's a very, very good tool to just kind of keep you on track and just show you. And remember, you're not just straight up drafting from it, but it is an optimal way to draft, and it's showing you, like, is anything terrible to take right now? Or is anything, like, way better than something else? And being able to differentiate between, an 8-team league versus a 14-team league. there is differences in some skill position players there. Differentiation between half PPR, full PPR. What happens when you add a third wide receiver, another flex spot, like all of those combinations. So I need 5 million teams to do it. There's going to be so much more data next year when we're able to add on another year, but there's plenty of data in there to be very, very beneficial to us. So again, final team, Kyler, Bijan, Travion, T. Higgins, Tyreek Hill, Evan Ingram, Marvin Harrison Jr., and the Broncos defense. And then we've got Xavier Worthy, Tony Pollard, Jordan Mason, Pittman, Marshawn Lloyd, and Jaden Higgins on the bench. We'll see if I hate this the most of anyone. I was also thinking, so now I think it's 97 this time. Part of me was thinking, I haven't actually given Fantasy Pros my rankings. So remember last week, I was like the most hated. Like I thought it was the worst draft imaginable. I haven't actually given them my rankings in a long time. So maybe that's like part of it. But again, I'm at 97. I think it was a very good draft. So that'll do it for this one. Please show up to the live stream tomorrow, 6 o'clock Eastern, with any question you have. Literally anything. I'll answer all questions on stream. We'll do 2 drafts on stream. And then again, there'll be a Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday video this week. That'll do it for this one, though. Please leave a like if you are still here. Please subscribe to the channel if you are new. That's the end of this one. Thanks for watching.